Grüß, willkommen in einem anderen Aufregungsvideo. Welcome to another exciting video, in this case episode 26 of my Star Trek The Original Series Timeline Analysis series of videos. In this video, I'll attempt to trace Kirk's 5-year mission as well as identify the approximate locations of as many planets mentioned in the original series scripts as possible. Trying to trace the travels of the Enterprise in 3 years of its 5-year mission is not going to be an easy project. I can try and use as many script references as I can, but a lot of the video is going to require a lot of assumptions, and assumptions which obviously could be wrong. If nothing else, I hope it may inspire others to do a better job, as the main benefits of tracing the journeys of the Enterprise is it will allow us to identify the locations of many of the planets mentioned. The first problem we have is the map. Most maps which you can download from the internet include a host of references from other Star Trek TV series. We've already identified that the latter TV series, such as The Next Generation, only has a superficial resemblance to the original series, and as new series came out, they had even less resemblance to the original series. Thus, it would be difficult to use these maps for the original series. I need to create the original series map which aligns with the original series script. I have previously created videos which provide a rough idea of what the Federation space looks like. I estimate its size is 800 light years across, and it's a sphere. Because of various wars, this sphere does have some deformities in it, which I need to consider. The other point is the location of the stars. We know for certain the locations of 3 stars, Sol, Alpha Centauri, and Alnitak, as all 3 are actual star references in the series. Many of the other locations which sound like actual stars are too far away to be viable, but most of the locations bear no resemblance to real star locations. Some locations we can infer with some degree of accuracy, such as the 3 Romulan homeworlds and the Klingon homeworld, which is incidentally never mentioned in the original series script. We can even guess the locations of stars such as Axanar, Organia, Delta Vega, and Donut 5 with some level of confidence. With less confidence, the location of Vulcan and perhaps of a handful of other stars, but everything else is pure speculation. I personally believe creating a more detailed map based on the scripts of the original series is actually a pretty fruitless enterprise. We can create a guess which would differ from someone else's guess, thus may be considered to have minimal value. However, by attempting to create a map based on the episodes of Star Trek, we can provide some unique insights in what is plausible and what is not. The first is we can indirectly assist in determining warp speed with a greater level of accuracy, and it can help us determine if the production order is actually the correct chronological order. However, apart from this, I feel going through the episodes quickly may be of interest, even if many people consider it of minimal value. The actual information, however, contained in the episodes is not going to be that useful in terms of identifying the locations of those places. Let's now start our journey. In principle, any outward expansion would result in a sphere. This will not be perfect, with some bits sticking out and some bits causing an indentation in our spherical ball. While I'll include any deformities based on references in the original series, however, in principle, the default shape that I'll be using is as perfect a sphere as possible. This 3-dimensional shape causes issues with my maps, that is, displaying my maps, as in some cases the Enterprise moves along one axis and in another a different axis. As a result, I'll need to show the maps using a galactic north-south orientation, in some case using a view along the galactic edge, which of course I'll mention when I show them. Just as an example, this shows a galactic north to south view. Assuming this gives us a clockwise rotation of the galaxy, our system, Sol, is shown by the white arrow. This, on the other hand, shows a galactic edge view. The Sun's location is shown by the white arrow. At the point the Sun resides, the galaxy is about 100 or 1,000 light years thick, which means if the Federation has a radius of 400 light years, it can form a perfect 3-dimensional sphere. The density of stars seem reasonably consistent within this 1,000 light year thickness, but once we exit this 1,000 light year zone, a system would exit the magnetic or the galactic magnetic field. Earth has actually exited the galactic plane in the far past, and some feels that mass extinction was the result. so it's probably not healthy when you exit the galactic magnetic field. The galaxy does not have a uniform density within it or along the galactic plane, with the galactic arms representing a high density of stars and the gaps in between lesser densities. This map comes from a board game which shows three densities: high, which is gold, medium, which is grey, and low, which is black. While Sol is close to the edge of the galactic arm, it's fully within the high density gold areas. The density goes up dramatically in the galactic centre, but that's not something we need to worry about, although the Voyager may on its way back home. I've covered this in more detail in my earlier videos, but I feel the Romulans and Klingons occupy the lesser dense area close to the galactic centre, which is on this map at the bottom edge, shown with the white lines. Both Klingons and Romulans, because they're in a medium density area, generally probably favours advancing towards the Federation, which has a higher density, rather than towards the galactic centre, that's to the bottom, because there's a lesser density. This shows their respective spheres of influence in 2264. When we look at the Federation and Romulans from a side view, we can see both spheres easily fits within the 1,000 light-year width of the galaxy. I've removed the Klingons as it would make it harder to see what's happening. The blurry areas in the centre means that both Federation and Romulan space occupies this area when looked at the side, from the side. This three-dimensional nature will make it hard to create a map. However, we do have some tricks to make it easier. Most of the major planets occupy the centre 300 light-year width segment, which is shown here in yellow. Inhabited planets around this slice tend to be rarer. Perhaps half have just come back into the safety of the galactic magnetic field, and as a result are likely almost lifeless, so it would take time to repopulate the planet with new life. Other planets are very old and on the way out of the galactic magnetic fields. Thus, any life on it or civilizations are either extinct, or the life form has retreated to a non-corporeal state, or are preparing to do so. Only the planets in the centre are vibrant, young and expanding. I have absolutely no idea if this assumption is true, but it means most of the action occurs in the almost two-dimensional central slice. I only need to use a side view when we move into the north or south extremes. Unfortunately, when I actually completed this, I discovered, and I should have realised, that yes, most of the action is in the centre for developed planets. However, the Enterprise doesn't hang around developed planets. It hangs around the edges of the Federation space, and as a result spends an awful lot of time in the galactic north and galactic south. For additional simplicity, I'll only show Federation space, unless I need to show something in the Romulan Star Empire or the Klingon Empire. For the Klingons, I may alter my view to ensure I get both territories meeting in the centre, and not sort of overlapping, which makes it hard to know where anything is. For clarity, I'll also change the scale so you can see this clearer if required. Let's now start with Season 1. I'll be showing two versions of the map, side view and top-down view. This shows the side or the galactic side view. This is indicated by the side-on view of the galaxy in the top right, the symbol that you can see there. This side-on view of the galaxy will move around based on the map shown. So if you're unsure if you're looking at a side view or not, look for this symbol. In the episode Where No Man Has Gone Before, the Enterprise has left Earth and gone to the galactic north to investigate the loss of the SS Valiant. During this episode, it goes to the mining planet Delta Vega. In the episode The Corbomite Maneuver, the Enterprise encounters the First Federation. This must be outside Federation space and must be on the way to the Romulan border, as the Enterprise needs to be there for a later episode. In the episode Mud's Woman, the Enterprise goes to another mining planet, this time Rigel 12. It must be coming from Festerius on its way back to the galactic centre, close to the Romulan border. Close by is a frontier planet with settlers on it. I expect some other type of special colony, or it's some kind of special colony which lacks women. The Enterprise visits another planet on the way back to the galactic centre in the episode The Enemy Within, called Alpha 177. It's uninhabited and probably uninhabitable. In the episode The Man Trap, the Enterprise visits M113, which is uninhabited, but once hosted a civilization, which is long dead. There is a Federation research base on this planet. In the episode The Naked Time, the Enterprise visits another dead world, this time s3e26. We are back in the galactic center, so I will now move to a top-down aspect view, or the galactic north to galactic south aspect in my next slide. This shows the galaxy using a top-down view, as indicated by the top-down view of the galaxy in the bottom left corner. I'm going to remove the cross-hatching in the Federation for clarity from this point on. In the episode Balance of Terror, the Enterprise goes to the neutral zone to battle out with a Romulan spacecraft. In the episode What a Little Girl's Made Of, the Enterprise begins to move south, which is not really clearly shown here, as the Squire of Gothos most likely occurs on the southern border of the Federation. This is what it has to do. On the way, they drop into XO3, yet another dead civilization. In the episode Dagger of the Mind, the Enterprise visits a penal colony called Tantalus 5. It continues to move south and to the bottom of the Federation. I must point out, and I really want to make this clear, there's a lot of guesswork here, and it's possible the Enterprise took a completely different route, so take this with a big pinch of salt. In the Enterprise mirror, the Enterprise comes across a perfect copy of Earth, the planet I call Earth 2. It must have been outside Federation space, and I'm showing the galactic edge map again at this, as the planet could be off the southern edge of the Federation, so we're doing a side view once again. We now flip back down to a top-down view. In the Conscience of the King, the Enterprise visits two planets which are both reasonably close to each other. This must be further in Federation space, as both colonies seem reasonably well developed and are not frontier colony worlds. In the Galileo 7 episode, the Enterprise is on its way to Marcus 3. This cannot be a frontier planet, so must still be deep in Federation space. In the episode Court Martial, the Enterprise visits the only starbase it ever actually visits in the TV series. It would be closer to the Romulans, as starbases would represent forward supply maintenance locations for Starfleet, supporting their defence against the Romulans. We once again move back to an edge view, as I suspect the next planet, Talos 4, must reside outside Federation space, in this case south of the Federation border. Talos 4 is the first planet the Enterprise visits in the cage, as well as the two Menagerie episodes. Talos 4 must be reasonably close to Starbase 11. On its way back from Talos 4, the Enterprise drops off at an uninhabited planet in the Omicron Delta region, which ends up being a long-abandoned recreation planet. This occurs in the episode Shore Leave. Once again, it should be outside of Federation space. In the episode Squire of Gothos, the Enterprise is on its way to a far-flung outpost called Colony Beta 6. Perhaps it's monitoring the southern galactic barrier or has some significant economic value. On its way, it bumps into Gothos, which must be about 460 light-years from Earth. In the episode Arena, the Enterprise visits two planets, Cestus 3, which has been attacked, and a Metron planet, which was used to allow the Gorn and humans to fight it out. Somewhere beyond must be the Gorn, which I suspect are in the far south of the galactic plane and reasonably close to the Klingons, but with no common border. In the episode Alternative Factor, the Enterprise comes across a dead world which once housed a civilization which could travel between different universes, and possibly time as well. We now flip back to a top-down view. In Tomorrow is Yesterday, the Enterprise is flung back to Earth, but past Earth. Perhaps a bit of the time-travelling alternate universe alien technology is rubbed off on the Enterprise. I originally wrote this as a joke, but, on reflection, there may actually be a link. In the episode Return of the Archons, the Enterprise moves back out of the borders of the Federation to Beta 3 in search for a lost spacecraft. In the episode Taste of Armageddon, the Enterprise travels to MNR 7, which also contains Vendigar. The planet may soon become part of the Federation. Actually, both planets may soon become part of the Federation. In the episode Space Seed, the Enterprise goes back towards Earth, possibly within 67 light-years, and meets Khan's DY-100 spacecraft. Kirk drops him off at Cetai Alphi. Apart from time travelling to past Earth, this is likely the closest the Enterprise ever gets to Earth, or current time or local time Earth. In the episode This Side of Paradise, the Enterprise goes to Omicron Cetai 3 to check on the colony. This U-turn is unusual and is caused by Khan's ship somehow. However, I have no idea how. There must have been some weird reason for the Enterprise to go towards Earth to find Khan's ship. Now it's coming back again. The amount of travel done by the Enterprise is too great, but perhaps each episode does not represent 2 weeks, and some episodes represents 1 week and others several months, and this could explain the wild differences in distances travelled per episode. In the episode Errant of Mercy, the Enterprise has to travel to Organia because of an emergency. This is about 250 light years away, so it would take a while to get there. Perhaps they went at a very high speed, warp 8, because it's an emergency. We're now moving back to an edge view. The Enterprise visits the city on the edge of forever in the episode with the same name. This must be hard to get to and could be very close to the galactic barrier, making it possibly rather dangerous to travel to. In Operation Annihilate, the Enterprise travels to Denver, which must be well within Federation space in order to have the population it currently possesses. This is, once again, another long journey. We now move into Season 2. In the episode Cat's Paw, the Enterprise goes to an uninhabited planet which was previously surveyed, so it could be well in Federation space. In Metamorphosis, the Enterprise loses a shuttle in the Gamma Canaris system, where they meet Zephyrin Cochrane of Alpha Centauri. This location is outside of United Space when Zephyrin Cochrane was lost, which may have been his plan when he wanted to become lost and presumably he wanted to die. In the episode Friday's Child, we travel back to the Klingon border, in this case the planet Capella 4. The Enterprise is conducting surveys in the episode Who Mourns for Adonis, which could be outside Federation space or inside. I've selected a spot inside, that seems most reasonable, where they meet Apollo. In the episode of Mock Times, the Enterprise is on its way to an unknown location when it diverts to Vulcan. This is the only time we ever visit Vulcan, which is one more time than current Earth or Mars, so it's a great episode. In the episode The Doomsday Machine, the Enterprise goes to L374 to find the system destroyed, and with a super weapon on its way to a close alien Federation member planet. This zone may be patrolled by the Constellation, so this may be emergency for the Enterprise to reinforce this starship in this manner. Anyway, the Enterprise may be close by at Vulcan, so is available to assist. In the episode Wolf in the Fold, the Enterprise visits Argelius, most likely on its way back from L375. The planet Rigel 4 is mentioned, which could be in the mentioned Rigel system. These are alien races and may have been part of the old Vulcan Trade Association or network. In the episode The Changelings, the Malurians are destroyed by Nomad. I have no idea where this could be, so I've placed it close to the Enterprise's last position, which is a wild guess. There's a lot of guesswork in this if you haven't worked out by now. In the episode The Apple, Gamma Trigelius 6 is encountered. I need to get over to the Romulan border, so I'll move up north and towards the Romulans in order to get to this planet. That's where I'll place it. In the episode Mirror Mirror, we meet the Halcyon Council. This is probably an independent alien planet at the edge of Federation space, or within Federation space. I have placed it up north near the Federation border, so I can get to the Romulan border in the next episode. In the episode The Deadly Year, we swing over to the Romulan border once again, this time to Gamma Hydra 4. We know if we travel to Starbase 10, the Enterprise will go through the neutral zone, so this starbase must be close, and both locations must be close to the border. We're now flipping back to a side view again. In the episode I Mud, the Enterprise meets the Andromeda androids. I have to assume they were outside Federation space in an unusual position, possibly way up towards the galactic or the North Galactic barrier. In the episode Trouble with Tribbles, the Enterprise goes down to the Klingon border. This may not seem like a long journey, but the Enterprise is 300 light years north of this position, so I can assure you it's another long journey. We're doing a top-down view here. Close by is Sherman's planet. This must also be close to Donnet 5. In the episode Bread and Circuses, the Enterprise visits Planet 4, Star System 8 s3e26, or the Roman world. It must be close by and outside Federation space. In the episode Journey to Babel, we journey to Babel. This must be well within Federation territory. I have no idea, so I've selected this spot. In the episode Private Little War, we once again head down to the Klingon border. In the episode Gamester of Triskelion, the Enterprise moves to Gamma 2, where the captain is taken. The Enterprise then travels to Triskelion, close by but outside Federation space. The Enterprise then travels to Argus 10, where Kirk meets the gas monster. In the episode Obsession, the Enterprise then travels 1,000 light years to Tychos, the breeding ground of the gas monster. The distance of this trip is immense and does introduce major issues, which I will discuss later in this video in terms of how to reconcile it. In the episode The Immunity System, the Enterprise comes across a giant space creature which kills everything it comes to contact with. This must be on the edge of Federation space. The planet it kills, Gamma 7A, is probably an alien Federation member planet. In the episode A Piece of the Action, the Enterprise visits the Gangster planet. This must be also outside Federation space. I am assuming the Enterprise is travelling back to its normal position, facing the Klingons. In the episode By Any Other Name, the Enterprise has to move north towards the galactic barrier, where they meet the survivors of the Kelvin Empire on a planet I will call Kelvin. On this map it's not obvious, but this is again another reasonably long trip. Now we flip over to the edge view of the galaxy. In Return to Tomorrow, the Enterprise visits the planets, of which I suspect are the Cedars. This is far to the north, but when this planet was part of a powerful galactic empire, it may have been close to the centre of the galactic plane. In the episode Patents of Force, the Enterprise moves to the planet of Xeon and Icos, which reside in the northern part of Federation space. This may be better placed on the edge, but it's possible some parts of the Federation space is pretty empty, and thus I placed it here. In the episode The Ultimate Computer, the Enterprise goes to an uninhabited planet called Alpha Carina T to engage in war games, which ends rather badly. In the episode Omega Glory, the Enterprise visits Omega 4 in the outer areas of the Federation. Once again, this may be better off occurring outside Federation space, but I want to stay close to Earth for the last episode of Season 2. Most of these locations are, obviously, guesswork, which is why I never attempted this before. Nonetheless, it can give me some hints concerning what is viable and what is not, and I suspect the Enterprise may need to be able to travel faster than 1,000 times the speed of light in order to fly around Federation space in this particular manner. I have no idea what an 8,000 light-year Federation would require in terms of maximum speed required if we had to go down that particular path, so I don't really want to do that. In the episode Assignment Earth, we're back on Earth. This time it's to 1968 Earth. This ends Season 2. Now we enter Season 3 of Kirk's mission to conquer as many women as possible. What a job. After the Enterprise a time-travelling jaunt off the edge of Federation space, it needs to go. As we end up on the Romulan border in the future, let's assume Melkot is here, or the Melkonians are here. After our gunslinger adventure, the Enterprise moves off to Troyes and Elias. This would be within Federation space, although not the edge. It would also need to be close to the Klingon border. This is described in the episode Elan of Troyes. In the episode Paradise Syndrome, the Enterprise now shoots north to beyond Federation space to visit the Earth-like planet with American Indians on it. In the episode The Enterprise Incident, the Enterprise engages in some espionage successfully. This occurs in Romulan space. In the episode And the Children Shall Lead, the Enterprise first goes to Triacus, a research planet, and then on to Starbase 4. I have to assume they are all close to the Romulan borders. We now return to a side view of the galaxy. In Spock's brain, the Enterprise travels to Sigma Draconius. As the Enterprise has some records of the planet, but not much, it's probably in Federation space and close to the edge. In the episode Is There in Truth No Beauty, the Enterprise is travelling to Medusa, which I assume is in the north portion of the Federation, close to Sigma Draconius. In the episode The Empath, the Enterprise travels to a system which will go Nova, where they visit Minarian, Close by is the planet Manak 4, which will probably be affected also by the nova in a very negative way. In the episode, The Tholian Web, we meet the Tholians. I have no idea where they are, but I'm placing them up north and away from the Romulans. This does get in the way of the Cardassians, but I'm assuming they are well above the Cardassians. In the episode, For the World is Hollow, the Enterprise travels close to Daran 5, which is most likely an alien Federation member planet within Federation space. In the episode, The Day of the Dove, the Enterprise travels to a fake Federation colony. In the episode, Plato's Stepchildren, the Enterprise comes across Sandara, an alien planet. This would have to be outside of Federation space. In the episode, A Wink of an Eye, we travel to the beautiful planet of Scarlos, which appears to have no inhabitants. In the episode, That Which Survives, the Enterprise discovers an unusually artificial world, which I'll call a ghost planet. This was built by a now extinct race. In the episode, Let This Be Your Last Battlefield, the Enterprise travels to Aranius, a Federation planet, before moving on to Cheron. In the episode, Whom Gods Destroy, the Enterprise now travels to the penal colony of Elba 2. In the episode, Mark of Gideon, the Enterprise travels to Gideon, a planet suffering from massive overpopulation. In the episode, The Lights of Zetar, the Enterprise travels to Memory Alpha, the Federation library planet. In the episode, The Cloud Minders, the Enterprise once again heads off for the Romulan border, but on the way it drops by Ardana. In the episode, The Way to Eden, the Enterprise travels to Eden. Luckily, no Romulan warship were around when they did so. This is also in the Romulan territories. We'll now, again, flip to a side view of the galaxy. In Requiem for Medusa, we travel up north, far away from the centre of the Federation, where we find Flint in the Omega system. In the episode, The Savage Curtain, we once again exit Federation space to visit Excalibur, the home of the Rock People. In the episode, All Our Yesterdays, the Enterprise finds a planet about to be destroyed by a nova. All the people have travelled back into time. Another example of time travel. For our last episode, Turnabout Intruder, we are back into Federation space, visiting another dead civilization on Canaris 2. I'm not going to be covering the animated series in this video. This is far too much already. I have to admit I'm not that keen about my map, and I'm uncertain how useful it is to other people. The only two takeaways I have is if the production order is chronological, then the Enterprise has to jump around Federation space an awful lot, which means it needs a very high speed. At a maximum cruising speed of 1,000 times the speed of light, the Enterprise can cover 1,000 light years in a year. While many locations are close, there is at least one 1,000 light-year journey and one 400 light-year journey, with many 100, 200 light-year jumps. It must be possible for the Enterprise to travel faster than 1,000 times the speed of light for short bursts, and cruising speeds may need to be higher. One theory is speeds may differ in different parts of the galaxy, which could explain many of this discrepancy, but probably not all, and it's a pretty awful theory, I must admit. As a result, it's likely some form of logarithmic progress must be occurring when we talk about warp speed, starting at 400 times the speed of light for warp 1 and slowly logarithmically rising to warp 7 and then shooting up. In this chart, the speed of warp 7 is 1,500 times the speed of light, and 8 is 1,900 times the speed of light, with warp 9 giving us 2,300 times the speed of light. If we assume high warp beyond 7 can only be maintained for a short period, then we can explain away some of these jumps, but not the 1,000 light-year leap across Federation space. I suppose we can assume this is an error and is a lesser value, or perhaps this space allows you to travel quicker for some weird reason. I can't solve all the issues, but this does resolve 90% without causing us other issues, which would result in having far too high speeds. Remember, if we give everyone speeds which are too high, then we can really go anywhere in the galaxy, and that simply doesn't really occur in the series. The other possible takeaway is the production order may not be chronological, And if you reordered the episodes, you could reduce this jumping around significantly. The effort involved in creating this was so significant, I'd prefer not to work out a possible better order of episodes, and we'll leave it to someone with more passion on the topic to do so. Regardless, there are a lot of good maps of Federation space. They may not be accurate for the original series, but they are probably accurate for the next generation. And so we come to an end of episode 26 of my Star Trek, the original series timeline, in this case covering Kirk's 5-year mission Travelogue. The episode scripts can be found using the URL shown. Once there is a company which offers tours to these exotic locations, I'll add those URLs to this video as well. Alle guten Dingen kommen zu einem Ende.